Yes.
Yeah. Okay. We're good. All right, everyone. Welcome back. It is currently 8:15 p.m. Central Time, Thursday, March 28th. I brought Steven back on the show. He missed last night's show on the DL, I should say.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's the IL now, Shane.
Is it the IL? I put DL on my
the
blog.
injured list.
But I texted you yesterday, said, hey, want to come on the pod? You never responded. I was like, well, I'll do it by myself. And I did. I gave all my predictions last night, posted them this morning. And now we don't really have anything planned. It's almost just like, what's going on, buddy?
We'll figure it out.
But I will go through all my predictions and you can give me your thoughts. I thought about this while making dinner. I will give you one, you're an idiot for leagues.
Okay. I can dig that. I'm sure we can find one.
Or you can get two in one league. I'll allow that.
Well, yeah, I may have to bend the rules a little bit. I think you've got some egregious ones, but
hey, I've had my whiffs in baseball, honestly, but at the same time, it's a
so
sport.
Hard, yeah.
It's a sport though that I think when it comes to preseason predictions, I've nailed the World Series champion more times than any other league.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. So let's start in the AL. Award winners, my MVP. I want to know your thoughts on these because, especially the Cy Young, because I feel like it's a very weak Cy Young pool in both leagues. But for MVP, I went with Julio Rodriguez.
It's good. I like it. There's a lot of young talent coming up, and especially with some of the movement that happened this offseason with Ohtani going to the National League, with Juan Soto coming over to the American League, a lot of the bigger moves, you're seeing some of those younger stars get kind of pushed to the forefront, and J-Rod's definitely one of those that's being pushed. I mean, it sucks that he plays in a place that nobody ever watches. And that he can't.
That'll hold him back for sure.
Seemingly will never have some postseason success because the Mariners are a cursed franchise. But
did you know they won a postseason series 2 years ago? I didn't know that.
No clue.
Did I read that?
That
right?
must have been the first year they did those 3 game series, like after the COVID year or whatever. So yeah, that makes sense. But no,
it says AL wildcard winners.
Yeah, so it must have been that 3 game series or whatever. But yeah, I mean, he'll be the focus of that lineup now, like he has been. I mean, he pretty much has been. But yeah, I mean, he's just one of those young stars that's gonna take over the league and be a poster child for the next 15 years. So I don't hate it.
You mentioned how no one watches him. The thing in his corner, I feel like, is how he has dominated, for the most part, the home run derby the last 2 years.
Yeah, yes. Putting him in big spots like that, home run derby, all-star games.
People know his name.
If we can get him in a postseason race, into the postseason, that helps. Yeah, people know who he is. It's just tough to watch him. But
who would you have picked? I think Juan Soto is the favorite, and I didn't want to go.
Juan Soto is probably a good choice because I like the way he fits in that Yankees lineup. If he can kind of break up Judge and Stanton, and go righty, lefty, righty, however they want to do it. But Stanton's a good, Soto's a good choice. You have to look at some of the Rangers, some of the Astros. I mean, Corey Seager would not be a bad choice. I'm trying to think of some other. I mean, Mike Trout's obviously still in the American League and hit the first home run of the season this year. So this afternoon, so he's never a bad choice because if he stays healthy, I mean, you're going to get 280, 290, 30 homers, 110 RBIs, 50 doubles. Gold Glove center field, that's that sort of thing. So it's your usual suspects, but to be a little bit different, I probably would have gone Corey Seager to kind of follow up on that World Series MVP
Yeah, he
run
was on fire in the playoffs.
and kind of solidify himself as maybe the top shortstop in the league. Think about it.
In the AL,
probably pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, with Wander Franco out, yeah.
Franco out, it's probably him, Correa. I mean, I can't think
AL
of
used to be
anybody
loaded
else.
with shortstops. Now, not so much.
Now it's not so much anymore.
Holy shit, Clemson's gonna beat Arizona.
I stopped watching an NCAA tournament on Friday of the
I don't blame you. Well, we're gonna pause, I guess, on baseball because I did want to touch up on March Madness a little bit because I didn't talk about it yesterday. I was invested. It's for more than a guy probably should after the season we just had, WVU, that is.
Yeah.
But we knew it was going to be a trying year. I didn't expect it to be as bad as it was, but we knew it was probably going to be bad. And I was invested in the tournament, though, because I was like, okay, well, our next coach is coming from this
somewhere
batch.
here, yeah.
Yeah, and it did. And so I was invested. I'm still watching. It's March Madness. It's fun to watch.
It is. Yeah. I watched exactly 0 seconds of the round of 32. I watched no basketball.
Those are the two, I don't want to say worst days, but the first 2 days are the best, in my opinion.
Yeah, of course.
And even day 2 kind of gets sad once you're about halfway through it. You're like, it's only going to be fewer and fewer games.
It's almost over, yeah.
And so then you go from that to the round of 32, where instead of 4 games at once, you got 1 game, from like 11 to 2. And then one game from 2 to 5. And then there's 6 games the rest of the night.
Yeah.
It's paced, I would say, pretty poorly, but it's a Saturday. People have other things to do. But anyway, back to baseball. Let's go Cy Young. I wasn't crazy about the batch of pitchers. I went with Framber Valdez out of Houston. Or Framber Valdez.
He was opening day starter for Houston today. I think he threw pretty decently against the Yankees. Any for a team like Houston, any opening day starter is going to have a good shot at winning the Cy Young, just because that's the caliber of pitcher that they are. And he has got some weird, funky stuff from the left side. So I don't hate that.
Well, he had a great season in 2022. I think he was a top 5 Cy Young vote getter in 2022, maybe last year too.
Mm-hmm.
Rookie of the year, I went with Evan Carter. Stayed in Texas. Called up last year, played well in limited time, played well in the postseason. First baseman, really good experience, helped them win the World Series. I think he can carry that over, into this year.
Yeah. Rookie of the year, like we always say, is just such a crapshoot. You could kind of throw a dart at the Baltimore Orioles and find a couple options.
I think the favorite is Jackson Holliday.
If he comes up this year, I think he's probably going to be your odds-on favorite just because of how dynamic a player he is and kind of the success that they had with Gunnar Henderson, who is not the same kind of player, but molded pretty similarly from the left side. Middle infielder, that sort of thing. So we'll see what Jackson does. And, of course, I've got a soft spot for the Holiday family. And
is he from them?
Yeah, he's Matt's son. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Matt Holiday's son. So, yeah, I mean, there's going to be somebody that comes up in June and tears the cover off the ball for 2 months and jumps into the thing, and it'll all just kind of be who performs down the stretch and can kind of push their team and do that. That's what I always feel like Rookie of the Year is. It's not sometimes it's not always the best rookie that year.
Several times when a rookie who doesn't play well in his rookie year goes on to have a better career than the guy who won Rookie of the Year.
Oh, yeah.
Many, many times, and obviously every sport. But while I'm on the subject of awards, I'll go ahead and go to the NL, get this out of the way. NL MVP. I think I went a little off the board here. Went with Mookie Betts. I feel like
No, it's totally off the board. The former MVP.
Well, it's
Mookie
not off
Betts.
the board. I meant I don't think
The
he's
former
the
MVP
favorite.
who's
He might
sitting in
be.
front of two other former MVPs.
Yeah. True. I just meant he plays for a team that everyone watches. And then he's also moving from outfield to shortstop.
Shortstop, yeah, he's going to be a
Tore it up
premier
in spring
position.
training.
Yeah. I mean, I saw it firsthand today. He had 3 hits, including a bomb off of Miles Michaelis. So I mean, he did everything and played a perfect shortstop. Had made no mistakes. So yeah, I mean, the National League is tricky because you input Shohei this year. He's not going to be pitching, so he's not.
Oh, he's not pitching. I didn't know that.
Shohei's not going to be pitching this year.
I said that last night that I was like, put him in there every 5 days, 5 or 6 days.
Because of an elbow. Yeah, because of an elbow, he's not pitching this year. But I mean, even if he's just hitting, he's going to be in this conversation.
Yeah.
And then it's all of your regulars. It's Ronald Acuna. It's Freddie Freeman. It's Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, Cody Bellinger with the Cubs. There's a lot of guys. If they, Bryce Harper, all the guys, pick your poison with the Phillies. There's some surprises that could happen. Your Reds have a couple. Elliot De La Cruz could punch above his weight class and really knock the cover off the ball. Pete Alonso is always a danger to hit 52 homers and drive in 130 runs. So I mean, it's the NL. I feel like is a little bit more wide open, especially with Ohtani not having the chokehold of hitting and pitching this year. But moving forward, that may be back in our red of Ohtani winning the MVP whenever he decides he wants to be an elite pitcher and hitter in the same year.
It truly feels like we are. So they paid him $700 million, and he's not going to pitch this year.
That is correct. $70 million. This whole contract, and I'm sure we've had this conversation over text or whatever. This whole contract confuses me. He's being paid $2 million a year and deferring 68 of it. His terms are 10 years for $700 million, and he is deferring like $680 million of it. So the Dodgers don't have to. It's confusing. I don't know.
That's bizarre.
The math and the legalese behind it makes my head hurt.
Before we got on the subject of that, I was gonna say it truly feels like that we are experiencing a changing of the guard in baseball. Like we've seen it in the other sports. Like we've seen football. Like all the guys we grew up with are gone.
Yes.
And even guys that were kind of coming up when we were in high school, college, they're gone too now. And we're seeing it a little bit in basketball. LeBron's still playing, but all of his generation is gone. So now for baseball, those guys typically play longer. And I think we're seeing that, and in hockey too. But those guys are starting to weed out a little bit, or at least coming to the end of their careers and aren't putting up as dynamic numbers. And we have to have, these batches of young players who a lot of people just haven't heard of. Come in and win these awards and make a name for themselves.
It's crazy on that subject. Like the Hall of Fame class this year.
Yeah, I meant to have you on for that. And I ended up falling through. I forget why.
I don't know that I remember them making their major league debuts, but I would have been around and paying attention to baseball when Joe Mauer was making his major league debut and Adrian Beltre was making his major league debut. Maybe not Todd Helton in that group, but like they played their whole careers with us being sports knowing people.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
I think Mauer was the youngest of them. I think he was 04.
Something like that. Yeah.
And Beltre and I know Helton was in the 90s. I think Beltre was 99, maybe 98,
99, something like that. Yeah, but even then, like that's just crazy to me. Especially here in St. Louis, obviously last year was big for Adam Wainwright and like I remember when he came up, and I remember when he made his major league debut. And I remember when he got thrust into the closer's role in 2006 and we rode him to a World Series championship. Like, and now he's retiring, and in 5 years will be on the Hall of Fame ballot. He won't get in first ballot, but he'll be on the Hall of Fame ballot. He'll get into the Cardinals Hall of Fame. He'll get his, all of these things will happen. And like, I watched his entire career as a Cardinals following baseball nut. And so,
hey, I didn't think Joe Mauer would get in first ballot, and he did.
I don't know.
I don't have a problem with it. I thought he was a Hall of Famer, but
Catchers are probably a little bit easier than a starting pitcher is, but I digress.
Cy Young, I went, I guess, a little off the board, although I said that last time, with Zach Gallen out of Arizona.
I love that pick, actually. I love that pick. Zach Gallen is
he got off to a really hot start last year and cooled off.
He cooled off a little bit, but I think that he will have a little bit of with Jordan Montgomery signing with them like yesterday.
Yep.
We'll have to talk about how bad of an offseason Scott Boras had here in a second, but having that kind of veteran, not crazy person, Madison Bumgarner leadership in the clubhouse in the starting rotation, I think will do wonders for Zach Gallen. And we already know how good he is, so I really don't hate that pick at all. Because it's in the National League again. It's you're kind of looking at all the same people that you've been looking at for the last 2-3 years: Spencer Strider, Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, Sandy Alcantara in Miami. That crop of folks. It's all the guys that have wanted to come close to winning it in the past couple of years. So, kind of throw a dart or pick a number out of a hat, and you're probably got a good shot of getting that one right. So I don't hate Zach Gallen at all, especially with the postseason that he had last year. Kind of trying to capitalize off of that. Don't hate it.
And lastly, Rookie of the Year. I did go chalk with this one because he's like a heavy favorite. He's like minus or like plus 100, and the next guy's like plus 600 or something. And it's hang on, Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Yoshinobu Yamamoto, yeah. He'll $300 million signee from the Dodgers.
Well, yeah, I looked him up. He put up stupid numbers over in Japan.
Of course, yeah, and
like that's a respectable professional.
Yeah, it's a top level league. Why you see so many guys that maybe fizzle out in the majors go over there, play for 3-4 years, get their confidence back, come back, and perform really, really well.
Trevor Bauer doing it right now, although his isn't a confidence issue.
Well, yeah, but a guy like today, like Miles Michaelis, started opening day for the Cardinals. He came back from Japan to sign with the Cardinals after kind of fizzling out and losing his role on a couple of different starting rotations. So, being a starting pitcher for the Dodgers is probably not all that difficult. So he'll have some counting numbers for sure. We'll see. He got kind of knocked around in his first start over in South Korea. I did not watch a second of that game because it was like in the middle of the night. But if he kind of gets over that and comes back, I think he's throwing against Cardinals playing the Dodgers. I think he's throwing on Saturday. So we'll see how that goes. And then, Rookie of the Year, who knows?
Yeah. So let's go by divisions. AL East. I see this as a 3-team race, potentially 4, but one of those 4 I just don't trust. So that's why I say 3-team race. Yeah. I'm going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for you real quick. So 5, I got the Red Sox.
They stink.
What's that?
They stink. Next.
Yeah. 4, I got the Blue Jays.
Yeah, that's probably your 4. Probably, I would guess the one you don't really trust. Yeah.
I've banked on them the last couple years. They've let me down.
They have star power. They've got production, proven production. What they don't have is pitching to speak of very much.
Alek Manoah disappointed me.
West Virginia Mountaineer Alek Manoah has really shat the bed and really kind of put a bummer in their plans. But if he can bounce back, they've got, like I said, they've got a shot. They'll have to pitch better. But sorry, I just heard a thud and a cry, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I mean that's probably your best bet for that spot is Toronto.
So 3 teams. I got the Rays coming in third. I feel like I do this every year with the Rays. I said this last night. I feel like I short them. They always prove me wrong. Not necessarily that they win like an absurd amount of games more than I was expecting, although they've done that like once or twice. But like the last couple of years, they've been flirting more toward like 90 wins instead of 100.
Yeah. And it's always tough to kind of gauge them preseason because they're not going to have the names on paper and the salary on paper and
Yeah, well, they got a couple pitchers hurt. They just put Wander Franco on administrative leave for reasons we're not going to get into.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot going on. Like we always said, we trust Kevin Cash,
and I do. Like
we trust what the front office.
I don't think I have them in the playoffs, but like they'll be in the mix.
But they're going to be in the mix, and we'll just have to. It'll be another season where they'll just, if they can piece together a couple of things and go on a run, they'll be right there. So It's just this is a tough division. And it's not one that you're going to have to win to get into the playoffs, but obviously that would help. All
right, number 2. This is I don't know about controversial. I got the Yankees in second.
Almost kind of feel like, on paper at least, you could really choose poorly between Baltimore and New York. I think it's a 1A, 1B type of thing.
I might have picked them to finish first, but if not for the Garrett Cole injury.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's not supposed to miss a ton of time, but that's still a good chunk of the season. Yeah,
it's a bad start to a guy that has had some injury trouble here and there. So it's something you never want to see. But I also think this kind of reflects on how exciting and young and new and fresh the Orioles are.
Mm-hmm.
And how it's kind of a breath of fresh air, kind of like how the postseason was last year, where you get some new blood in there. You get 2 new teams in the World Series that haven't been there in a while, and you get it's kind of like you said, the league's kind of turning over a little bit. So I don't hate the choice to go Yankees 2, Baltimore 1 because of that. I think Baltimore's primed to make that push, especially with their with their trade for Corbin Burns for his contract year. He's going to want to shove and show out and get that big contract next offseason. So we'll see how it goes.
So while we're on the subject, I said last night that I think it's still kind of the same at the top. It's still kind of the same 4, 5, 6 teams competing for the World Series. However, I think this might be the deepest I've seen, like, group of teams that I've seen that can compete for a wild card. Like, there's only 6 spots, and I think there could easily be 8 or 10 teams, maybe more, that could compete for one of those 6 spots.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, you're going to have your 3 division winners, and those are, like you said, those are probably still your same 5 or 6 teams that are going to be competing for those 3 spots. But after that, I mean, it's going to be a war in both leagues, really.
Yeah.
It's going to be a war to get those last spots. So,
and that just speaks to what we've been saying is, like, yeah, these guys we have grown up watching are still not necessarily grown up watching, but last decade still in the league, still doing well. But there's an entire young generation now coming, and we're meeting right here in the middle before one generation leaves the league and the other one dominates it.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, this is a good time to be a baseball fan. Maybe not in St. Louis right now because we suck, but
we'll get to the Cardinals in a bit. But anyway, yeah, so I got the Orioles in first in this division. Really like the Orioles. I mean, talk about a complete 180. This team won 47 games.
They were begging. They were begging the owners to sell the team like 2 years ago.
Yes, there were, I think, rumored plans to move the team to Nashville or something.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how deep that ever went. But they won like 47, 52 games or something like that. And then last year, like or not last year, the year before, they really put it together and I remember thinking at one point in like July, anyone else notice that the Orioles are one game out of the wild card?
Yeah.
The team that we thought was going to lose 110 games. And then last year
Does anybody see this? Yeah.
So just crazy how they've swung the pendulum the last 2 years, loaded with young talent, Adley Rutschman, Gunnar Henderson, we talked about, and then the big trade for Corbin Burns, a former Cy Young winner, definitely helps. I hope former Mountaineer John Means is healthy. I know he's struggled, I think, since Tommy John surgery. So I think this team's ripe for a postseason run.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, it's good for the game. Reminds you kind of those old Buck Showalter teams in the early 2010s with Adam Jones and that crew. But man, I mean, it's like I said, it's good to have fresh new blood. I mean, this is a young team. It's an exciting team with the bird bath and the water guns and all that. I mean, they're fun. Gunnar Henderson, Auburn Tiger.
Yeah, he is, isn't he?
So, I mean, it's like I said, it's good that this is not just a Yankees Red Sox. Maybe throw the Rays in there every, like it's been every year for the last 8-10 years. It's good to get new blood. So I'm all about it.
AL Central. I don't know about you. I called this a 3-team race, but I think I'm being aggressive saying that.
This division,
I would say I'm being like liberal with that. Like I really think this might just be a 1 or 2 team race.
I mean, man, a lot of these teams are in some bad spots.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and go through. Number 5, I got the Chicago White Sox. I texted you last year. Is there a team that blew a great championship window more than the White Sox?
I mean, whatever they did needs to be put in a museum for future generations. How to not do things. How you should not run an organization.
I mean, 6 years ago, I remember you coming on the podcast, or maybe not quite that long, and we were gushing about how there was so much young talent with this team, and they hired Tony La Russa. They did get to the ALCS, I think, 1 year with him. Maybe just the divisional round. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And then, I'm thinking, okay, like this is what they needed. They made the playoffs. They got over the hump. Good for them. And then it's just been one spiral after another, and now they're traded away. They're better players.
Right.
They still got some good players, Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez, Yoan Moncada, but at some point I'm like, I got to see you guys put this together, and y'all haven't shown me you can do it.
No, I mean, and they don't have pitching to speak of anymore.
They just traded Dylan Cease.
Dylan Cease just got traded. I mean, there's nothing there. It feels like they're pretty close. Once the Roberts and the Jimenezes and the Moncadas get closer to their contract expiring, they're just gonna blow it up.
Yeah.
So it sucks. I had some high hopes, like you said. I had high hopes for this team 3-4 years ago, but like you said,
White Sox Dave on Barstool was calling them a dynasty.
Prime example
around 2019
of pissing away like you said, a great window at a championship and just nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
Nothing.
1, maybe 2 playoff appearances with the expanded COVID year. I
2
think
or 3, maybe one like round victory, if that. But I mean, pretty sad.
Number 4, I got the Kansas City Royals. And they've I thought they had finished 5th in this division for the last few years, but they've bounced to between 4 and 5. I think they're a little bit better than the White Sox. White Sox are a mess. They have some young talent. I don't like their pitching, but I just think you're in a slightly better spot than the White Sox.
Probably a little bit better spot. Got a new stadium coming in, so
Yeah, they do.
So we'll see how their money situation looks in the next couple of years. Also, just paid. I was happy that they paid Bobby Witt. He deserves it. Really, really electric playmaker, ball player.
That's their guy.
Going to be the face of the franchise, for the next 12 years or however long the contract is. So good for him. But this division, 3, 4, and 5 are almost interchangeable for me. So yeah, Royals 4. I'm a little bit higher on them. I probably have them closer to 3, pushing the upper 2. But pick your poison.
This is by far both the Central divisions are pretty weak.
Not great.
Number 3, I don't know if we're going to agree on this one. I have the Detroit Tigers. I don't hate Detroit Tigers. Don't love them.
No.
They have some, not even great young talent, but decent to pretty good guys who they drafted high. Just the ceiling's not quite there, in my opinion.
Yeah. Maybe the saddest story of all time for me with Casey Mize.
I knew you were going to bring up Casey Mize.
Not panning out as a major league pitcher, which sucks. But they've got some good talent. I think Akil Badu's still there. Spencer Torkelson. Javier Baez will be swinging at everything.
Oh my gosh.
I saw their lineup today. He was the opening day shortstop, slotted in at number 8 in the batting order.
That's a contract they want back.
From a guy that used to hit 3rd in the Cubs line, in that Cubs lineup with Rizzo and Brian and
2nd, 3rd, yeah.
So all those guys, yeah. He's hitting 8 now. So we'll see. Like I said, 3, I would probably switch Kansas City and Detroit, but like I said, 3, 4, and 5 feels interchangeable to me. So the top 2 are definitely more watchable baseball than a lot that's going to be going on at the bottom of this division.
Yeah, so I got the Guardians/Indians. Number 2, I still kind of like them. I know they disappointed last year and they lost Terry Francona. I still like some of the pieces on the roster. I don't know about you.
I don't hate it. I don't hate the roster. It always feels like they're going to find pitching somewhere. Whether or not they trade Shane Bieber this year, feels like they've been trying to trade him for 4 years.
Well, they got Bibee last year who stepped up.
Yeah, so like I said, it always feels like they're going to find somebody to throw the ball.
Yeah.
The J-Ram, Jose Ramirez is always going to be a productive middle of the order bat. I don't believe I could tell you any other people in their lineup at the moment, but with the division this soft, with a team that we trust and have seen over the years, kind of punch above their weight class if there have been some offensive struggles, and maybe here's a that didn't sound good. Here's a something for you. If they are in a real hunt come into July, maybe you look at trading Shane Bieber and get an impact bat or an impact reliever or an impact starter. See what you can get for him.
That's the team that can afford to do a little bit of both sell and
play both sides of the market. Yeah, for sure.
And then number 1, like we said, Minnesota Twins. I just really trust this team. Don't love their roster. They have some decent pitchers. Lineup's okay, not great outside of Carlos, but I think Rocco Baldelli is a stud manager. I just trust him.
Yeah. Another team that we've seen have success in the regular season just need to put it all together in the postseason, and that would put them over the top for us. So yeah, I mean, we trust. You and I are big on front office and managers, and we both, we've talked at length about how we like Rocco Baldelli and the way he manages a game. So yeah, this division feels so weird. 3, 4, and 5 feel so interchangeable, but 1 and 2 do too. Like you could see it going either way at the top. So, and both of these teams I think will be in the middle of the playoff hunt, whether they win the division or not. So we'll see. I mean, it'll be a good race down the stretch. Hopefully, everybody stays healthy, that sort of thing. But yeah, Twins could totally win the Central.
Moving on to the AL West. This is a legitimate 3-team race, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Like I think I said that about the East, although it's probably more of just a 2-team race in the East. We said maybe 2, probably more 1 in the Central, but legitimately the AL West is a 3-team race.
Oh yeah.
I'll get to it. But number 5, unfortunately, I still have the Oakland A's coming in last. Probably still the worst team in baseball.
Utter disgrace is happening in Oakland. A complete and utter disgrace. They need to sell the baseball team. It's a travesty to the people of Oakland and the Bay Area what is happening to the Oakland Athletics.
Okay, hang on. So why do you say that?
The owner is very obviously money grabbing. He's Stan Kroenke-ing it. That's exactly he is Stan Kroenke.
Give me a break with that. St. Louis stole the Rams from LA.
It's exactly what he's doing. He wants the money from Las Vegas. He screwed over the people of Oakland to do it. I hope they get the same amount of money that the people of St. Louis got.
Well,
but more.
I've never been to Oakland. I've only heard from people who have been there. It's a dump.
So is St. Louis. It's fine.
Myself. What's that?
I said so is St. Louis. It's fine. It's a wonderful city. Everybody loves it here.
St. Louis is a dump.
It kind of is sometimes.
But just there's nothing much to like about the A's, unfortunately.
No, they're saving every penny that they can to hit the slots. I mean,
I said last night, I think they're more prepared for their move to Vegas.
Yes.
Which I guess is officially official.
I can't tell. Yeah,
I think so. I thought they were waiting on some things. But...
I don't know where they're going to play, but I guess
that's a big problem.
They'll get it figured out. I mean, sure.
Number 4, I got the Angels. This team's best shot to win a World Series with Mike Trout is long in the rearview mirror.
Way gone. It's like 8 years behind.
Well, they should have shipped it down last year. I don't know why they didn't. At the deadline, just be like, this ain't working, trade everybody.
Yeah, I don't know why they haven't legit blown it up. I would bet Mike Trout's contract probably isn't all that easy to trade off, but yeah, I mean, it sucks that they had maybe not as good a window as like a team like Chicago, like the White Sox, but 2 of the most talented players of this generation playing for your team for 4 or 5 years and just nothing to show for it. It sucks. Never could get any pitching around him. Still don't really have any pitching around him. So Mike Trout will continue to shine and squalor until he is fed up and decides, I would like to go play for the Phillies, please.
I shared that tweet with our group text about nothing says baseball is back than Mike Trout hammering a ball in the first inning and the Angels getting their asses kicked.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Trout goes yickety, first home run of the year on opening day, I guess I should say. And then I don't even know I didn't even see the final score. That game ended like 9-1 or something. Like
I know. I think it was like 6-1 at one point.
Yeah, I mean, just a butt kicking. But Mike Trout, do your thing, baby. First ballot Hall of Famer. But like a diamond in a turd.
Yeah, just not diamond in a turd. I don't think I've ever heard that before. All right. So. Number 3 team in this division, I got the Seattle Mariners. Don't like them as much as the other 2 teams. They're still really talented. They have a really good trio in their starting rotation. I don't know what kind of bats they have outside of Julio Rodriguez.
It'll be tough. This is another, like the AL East, this is another division where coming in third means nothing. Like, you could very easily be in the middle of the playoff hunt coming in third.
I do have them in the playoffs.
And winning 88 or 89 games. So, yeah, I mean, what is his name? Depoto, the GM.
I don't know GMs.
His name is D something or other. Has done, whoever he is, good job to him. Done a swell job putting together a roster of exciting young talent, getting players like J-Rod, and making the right moves for guys like Luis Castillo, and putting together complementary pieces to compete in a division that has the World Series champion and a perennial World Series contender in it. So, yeah, I mean, it sucks that this is probably where they're slotted, but like I said, it means nothing to their postseason aspirations. I mean, they're going to be squarely in the hunt.
I had a thought there. Now I've forgotten it.
It's unfortunate.
So 2022, this team broke through, or maybe it was 2021. They won like 90 games.
Mm-hmm.
In 2022, I think they won the same amount of games, made the playoffs. And then last year felt like they fell off, but they still won 89 games. Like, this team has been pretty consistent in the last 3 years that they're going to win about 88 to 89, 90 games.
Dipoto is his name. Dipoto. Dipoto. And I don't even think he's the GM anymore. He may have gotten promoted.
I just looked it up. It said Justin Hollander.
Yeah. He may be, executive vice president or whatever.
So, number 2, this is going to be a little controversial for me because I live in the area. I got the Houston Astros.
I think it's tough to bet against the defending World Series champions.
Well, I just think the Astros are getting a little older.
They're getting a little older. And
nothing against the Astros. They're still really talented. I just like the Rangers a little bit more.
Yeah, been something that we've been saying for the past couple of years that, like, not necessarily their window's not closing necessarily, but it's not wide open anymore. Bregman, Altuve, those guys are not getting any younger. Alvarez, even Kyle Tucker is not a spring chicken anymore. They're getting a little bit younger in the pitching staff, but eventually this window's going to run out, or it's not, and we're going to be proven wrong. But again, means nothing. First, second, third in this division means nothing. They'll be in the playoff hunt, probably will make the playoffs. And if they make the playoffs, even money that they're going to the championship series, even though, they're just that team that has shown us that if they get in, they're going to make a run. So
obviously, first team in this division for me is the Texas Rangers. And I can't say enough good things about the Rangers. I liked them last year. I just needed to see it come together.
And boy, did it. I mean,
oh my God, did it. Like, I said, I think I made a comment last year that I didn't think that they had many young studs that could come into this roster and get them over the hump. Way wrong on that one. Tavares stepped up, Carter stepped up, Josh Young stepped up. And then they already had Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, Adolis Garcia, who's not really young, but it feels like he is. He must be a late bloomer. And then the thing that I think really, I guess forgotten about is that this team managed to win the World Series without Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer.
deGrom and Scherzer both hurt, yeah. So, I mean, get them back. What can they do now? They didn't really lose anybody.
And by the way, a Hall of Fame manager and Bruce Bochy.
Bruce Bochy, yeah. Who, again, is one of those guys that has proven he can do it, even as old and decrepit as he is now. And I will Bruce Bochy's great. I'll always hold a grudge with him because the Cardinals went to, I think 6 straight championship series. And every time we faced the Giants, we lost. In those even year championships that they had. But not much else you can say about him. You know, he can do it, and they've got all the pieces, and they're getting a couple back. DeGrom and Scherzer stay healthy. I mean,
By the way, this pitching staff was already
300
good without them.
103, 105 games, totally within reach.
So playoff teams in the AL, I got division winners: Orioles, Twins, Rangers. Wild cards are Yankees, Astros, and Mariners. I got the Rays just missing the cut.
Yeah, I think that's probably I would probably oh boy. I would probably switch the Yankees for the Rays. I don't trust the Yankees pitchers outside of Cole and Cortez. And I don't know what their bullpen looks like. And correct, they have a new manager, right? Did Aaron Boone get fired or leave or whatever?
No, he's still there.
He's still there? Okay. I know they were talking about it.
The thing with the Yankees is there's so much pressure on them. There's always pressure on the Yankees, but it feels like there's a ton of pressure on them this year.
Certainly the biggest stage in Major League Baseball. Maybe the Dodgers have gotten close to that, but yeah, I mean it's like you said, this is the American League. Well, really, the American League West and the American League East. There are 6 teams that could win the World Series out of those divisions. Mm-hmm. One of them's not going to make it because there's a 6th place in the American League for the Central Champions.
Yep.
So who that is, you know, like I said, I put my money on the Rays because of Kevin Cash and the front office and their ability to make moves that can kind of bolster their roster and get them moving in the right direction. And my disrespect, I guess, maybe is the best way to put it, of Aaron Boone and his ability to manage in the postseason, and in big games in September and October.
He's not a great manager.
I don't think so either. So that will be my only change. But yeah, I mean, it's like you said, it's probably those 6 teams from the East and the West, and maybe we see a Minnesota or a Cleveland make a run at it. But yeah, I mean, it's that's it.
NL East, heading over to the National League, starting in the East. 2-team race, and then kind of a big drop-off after that.
2 teams, middling team, 2 bad teams. Probably is how you put it.
I wonder if we're going to see eye to eye. But last place, I got the Washington Nationals. They, on paper, kind of exceeded expectations last year.
Overperformed last year.
Games. Yeah.
Don't
think they're going to do that again. I think that they're pull back.
Still in a rebuild, so.
Don't know where the pitching is. Don't know where the offense is. Like
Abrams is a good player. Archie Boom's a good player, but not much else to speak of.
Number 4, I got my adopted team, the New York Mets. This is a very I said this last night. This seems to be a very atypical Mets team. Usually the Mets have pitching and can't hit the ball. This Mets team, I think, can hit the ball. They were inconsistent with it last year, although I think Francisco Lindor and Pete Alonso should be better than what they were last year. But I don't know where the pitching is outside of Kodai Senga, if I'm even saying his name right.
No.
They're relying on Luis Severino. They're relying on Jose Quintana.
Right. Double yikes.
Yeah, I just don't know where the pitching is.
Yeah, that's tough. You get Evan
and Buck
Diaz
Showalter isn't manager anymore, and I think he's a good manager.
Oh, Buck. Poor guy. You get Diaz back at the end of the bullpen, which will help. But I mean, yeah, it will. You're probably right. The season will swing on the starting rotation, because they do have enough talent in the lineup. Probably have enough talent in the bullpen. But if they can't get guys out at the beginning of the game, they're digging out holes, every day, then it's gonna be tough. So,
yeah. Just again, very unlike them. They usually have a young pitcher or two, and it just doesn't seem like that's the case this year, unless there's someone I just don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, I got the Miami Marlins. Arrived last year, vastly exceeded expectations, made the playoffs. Really good pitching. Sandy Alcantara was the Cy Young winner, 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think so.
He's going to miss some time, I think, this year to start, but they still have some good arms in their rotation, even in their bullpen. Lineup's not great, but it's not terrible.
This is never going to be a team that it's kind of like the Rays. That's never going to have star power, so to speak of. They do kind of have one with Sandy. Made a few kind of sneaky moves to shore up a few things. Brought over Tim Anderson to play middle infield for him. So we'll see. Couldn't really tell you much else about their lineup.
Other than Luis Arias, man.
Luis Arias, he'll try to hit 400 again, but just hitting bloop singles. Never be over 85.
Hey, batting average is a batting average, man. It doesn't matter how you get on base. Or slugging percentage is overrated. We all know that.
All this talk of launch angle and exit velocity and Luis again, and that dude is gonna hit 380, never hit the ball over 90 miles an hour. So
so then we get to the top 2 teams. I got Philly in second.
Yeah.
Nothing against Philly. Just we have raved about Atlanta for the last few years. Atlanta's just really good, but Philly is also really good. And if Philly won this division, I wouldn't be shocked. I just need to see it happen.
Yeah. Another one where it is second or first in this division doesn't particularly matter. They'll be in the midst. And in the middle of the playoff hunt. Another team that doesn't really lose much, if I'm recalling correctly. So we'll continue the Bryce Harper at first experiment and see how everything goes. But you've got 2 horses at the front of your starting rotation. You've got horses and guys in the middle of the lineup that can carry you. And one of the best leadoff hitters and shortstops in the game. So I mean, it'll be a dogfight between Philly and Atlanta, and both of these teams will probably make the playoffs.
Yeah, I do have them both in. As for Atlanta, I mean, loaded. I mean, like they're in the middle of their window, and they've already won.
This is their window. Acuna, Albies, Austin Riley, Michael Harris, Spencer Strider, Mike Soroka coming, Matt Olson, Mike Soroka coming back from the Achilles. Good bullpen, good manager. This is their window. They'll have a full stadium every night. I mean, it's, I hate it, but they're good.
We're all right. We're 2/3 of the way through. You haven't used one of you're an idiot.
Yeah, I guess I am saving them for the National League. I'll say this. I thought about it with the Mets. I think they'll be a little bit. Actually, I have 2. I'm going to use my you're an idiot retroactively. I think the Kansas City Royals are going to be a lot better than you think.
Okay.
I'll have them pushing 500.
Okay.
Sorry, I forgot to use mine.
So now we are in our division.
But I would bet I would bet you could guess where my you're an idiot's coming. If I know you, Shane.
It's probably gonna have something to do with the Reds.
It could. It might have something to do with the Cardinals too.
Well, that's just because I was shitting on the Cardinals today in our group text.
Maybe. We'll see where you put them.
I don't think you'll be, based on the conversations that we had earlier today, I don't think you'll have many disagreements. But I honestly think this could be a 5-team race. It's pretty wide open.
Any team in this division could win it. Any team in this division could come in last.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree.
For sure.
I don't like this 5th place team I put in 5th place, but I put the Brewers in 5th.
That was my thoughts exactly. They lost.
I might be too
so
overreactive to.
No, I don't think you are at all. They lost a manager which you and I really, really respect in Craig Counsell, to a division rival.
Yeah.
Just across the state line, and their ace.
Yeah. And
their lockdown reliever and Devin Williams is going to be missing a lot of time with some stress fractures, so they're in some trouble.
Well, this is a team that's like, it looked that way last year. They managed to win this division, kind of going away anyway, but this window is closing.
Really
closing.
Yeah, really, really bad division last year. Was the Central. Yeah, I mean, this one's tough. I totally agree with that. The Brewers are gonna sink and flail like a wounded duck. I don't see them winning more than 70 games, 72 games. So yeah, I agree with you there.
So then at 4th, I got the Pirates.
Finally out of the cellar.
What's that?
Finally out of the cellar. Come the Pittsburgh Pirates. Clear the deck.
When they're not 5th, it's usually when they're like tied with the Reds.
Yeah.
And they hold the tiebreaker and end up 4th. That's the way it feels anyway. But the Pirates have young talent. They have not been able to put it together yet. If there's any time to do it, it's this year.
Yes. And as weak a division as it looks to be this year, getting O'Neal Cruz back, putting some other talent around him. Don't really know who's going to throw the ball as it has been for the past couple of years with Pittsburgh, but they've got some boppers. They've got a few guys in the lineup. So I mean, roll them out. Let's watch them play. See what happens. But could be 4th, could be 1st, could be 5th. Who knows?
Yeah, it's all on the table. And this team got off to a hot start last year before I think the O'Neal Cruz injury, and they kind of fell off.
Yep.
3rd is when I have your St. Louis Cardinals. I don't think you think that's egregious.
I don't think it's egregious. I bet
you disagree with me. Yeah.
I don't think it's right, but I don't think it's egregious. If you would have had them at 4th or 5th, I would have called you an idiot.
No, I'm not dumb.
But 3rd feels okay. I don't think last year feels like such an aberration.
It does, yeah.
And very odd, like, that feels like an aberration because we've never seen the Cardinals lose 90 games, seemingly, since the late 90s.
First time ever they finished last in the National League Central.
First time, yeah. I mean,
granted, it's mostly because the NL Central hasn't existed.
It didn't exist until the
80s
or 90s. Yeah,
yeah.
Whatever. We won't mention that. But yeah, I mean, it feels like such an aberration because so many things went wrong, and then it feels like we kind of just gave up. Made a decision like 3rd week of July, and see ya. I mean, we traded everybody away. We traded all of our expiring contracts away. Got some good pieces who may or may not be ready this year. But the thing is that we'll always have a core. Nothing happened with last year's team except for a Brendan Donovan injury, some really badly timed injuries to guys like Lars Nootbaar, and Nolan Gorman. Tommy Edman had really badly timed injuries where the team was not playing well, and then they got hurt, and then things started to kind of snowball. But what we needed to do was get innings eaters in the starting rotation. That was our Achilles heel last year, is that we could not.
Very atypical of St. Louis. Very
super atypical of St. Louis. Usually we have had those guys forever. That you can roll the ball out and they'll give you 5 2/3 or 6 1/3. and turn it over to the bullpen. That didn't happen last year, and we did not have the bullpen to make up for that. So going out and getting a Sonny Gray, although he will be hurt to begin the year, going out and getting a Kyle Gibson, a Lance Lynn, guys that will, this is going to sound horrible, but letting Adam Wainwright kind of ride off into the sun and opening up a rotation spot will, I think, do good for us because now we have those guys that can give you innings. It may not be 6 innings of 2-hit, no-run ball, but it'll be 5 2/3, 2 runs on 6 hits, scatter 6 or 7 hits. Guys that can keep you in the game and give your lineup, who is very potent, a shot to win it. So, yeah, I disagree. But like we said, this division is so wide open that it's not – there's no easy way to prognosticate it. So you're not an idiot, but they're going to win the division. And the World Series, by the way.
I think losing Yadier Molina really hurt them.
Way more than anybody understands how much it hurt them. In terms of a stalwart in the clubhouse, good defensive catcher, leader, example, face of the franchise, you name it. Losing Yadier Molina, who will be the next manager of the St. Louis Cardinals whenever he decides that he wants to be the manager. There's so many there's been such weird stuff going on in St. Louis where he was hired to be part of the staff this year, decided that he didn't want to be part of the staff anymore, has some things he wants to do in Puerto Rico apparently, never showed up to spring training even though he was supposed to. I believe he has shown up now and be working with the developmental league guys. But whenever he decides that he wants to come back, he'll be the manager of the Cardinals. So getting him back in the dugout will be great, but we may have to wait a couple of years. But getting on the field, like I said, we've still got Paul Goldschmidt is getting old, but he had 3 hits today. I mean, he will still go out and you roll the ball out and he's going to hit 275 with 28 or 32 homers and 95 or to 105 RBIs. Nolan Arenado is going to, for the first time ever, did not win a Gold Glove last year because, like I said, everything went wrong for the Cardinals last year. And still, you can roll him out and he'll give you 30 homers and 100 RBIs.
280 and be in the running for Gold Glove.
We've got a lot of young talent that is not yet proven, but has done it at the major league level. Nolan Gorman hit 25-plus homers last year. Lars Nootbaar was an international superstar last year in the World Baseball Classic and has performed at the major league level. Brendan Donovan, Tommy Edman, Wilson Contreras, those type of people who are not your superstars will not be your Goldie or your Arenado, but can win you some ball games. Then you look at, we've got a lot of young talent coming up. Jordan Walker, Mason Wynn, those type of guys that are going to be looked at to be everyday starters this year and really perform well, which Jordan Walker did last year. Mason Wynn not so much, but it will depend, like I said, on the starting rotation. Can they give us innings? Can they turn it over to the bullpen with a lead or staying in the ball game? Give us a chance. Today it didn't happen. Miles Mikolas went 4 1/3, gave up 5 runs. Game was over when he came out of the game. So that's going to happen. But more days than not, can you give the ball to the bullpen with a chance to win? We'll see.
They feel like a team transitioning from one core to another.
Yes
they
and
don't
no.
really have the in-house talent in the starting rotation, at least not that I know of.
No.
They have in-house talent in the lineup. We just haven't really seen any consistency for the most part. You know what I mean?
Not from the youngsters, no.
Yeah.
But it's there, and we've seen it in spurts.
Yeah.
We've not seen it consistently. So get some consistency and watch out. This team can win 100 games.
I have no doubt this team's going to rebound.
Yeah,
they're not going to lose 90 games again. I'll be shocked if they do. I have too much respect.
I will move if we lose 90 games again. I moved to St. Louis, and the Cardinals and the Blues have the two worst seasons almost in franchise
The
history.
Blues fucking deserve it, and you know it.
Shut up. I moved to St. Louis, and these things happen to these teams, and it's a bummer.
I was gonna make a comment in there like, God, you had to endure one bad baseball season, and it reminded me of.
Yeah, but I've never lived here. I live here now.
But it reminded me of in the fall, because I'm obviously, I'm a big Green Bay Packers fan, and Jordan Love caught fire at the end of the year. And someone tweeted, I forget who it was, maybe Mina Kimes, like something along the lines of like, remember those weeks when Green Bay had bad quarterback play? And I think a Green Bay beat writer was like, it was hard, guys. And that's how I feel with you and the Cardinals.
What a jackass. It was so hard last year. It sucked last year, man. I'm telling you.
So, top two teams. I got the Reds, Cincinnati Reds coming in second. I would have been overreactive probably. A month or two ago, I might have picked them to win the division. But they've had some things come up the last couple of weeks that just give me concerns. Noelvi Marti suspended for quite a bit. Matt McClain might miss the year. Don't really know the health of Hunter Green and Nick Lodolo. Like, there are concerns there. However, this team, speaking of catching fire, caught fire last year and had an influx of talent that they just kept calling up guys and they kept producing. They got one of the best players in baseball right now, Elly De La Cruz. I really like the future of this team. Don't know what kind of manager they have in David Bell.
You might be an idiot. Because with Hunter Green up in the air, who's going to throw the ball?
I mean, Andrew Abbott played really well last year.
Yeah. Can you do it over 35 starts? Maybe.
Yeah. It's all valid.
It's all valid. Yeah. I mean, can he? Sure. Will he? Who knows? But you're right. They do have talent littered. Yeah, it's young.
Yeah.
It's young, but they have talent up and down the lineup. Future superstar in Elly for sure. Bona fide base knock in Jonathan India. I love Jonathan India as a ball player. I don't know if you know that or not. I hate that he went to Florida. You might be an idiot, but you might not be.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely probably my boldest. I think my boldest pick.
This might be another one where in 20 minutes I retroactively call you an idiot.
You're already calling me an idiot now.
Okay, maybe you're an idiot.
So first place, I got the Chicago Cubs.
Okay, you're definitely an idiot. Just kidding.
I don't feel good about anyone in this division.
No.
They made the big splash at manager with Craig Counsell.
Big splash at manager with Counsell that got Bellinger back.
And this team already had some talent.
Has some talent. Christopher Morel, if he still plays for them, will hit 230 throughout the year and hit 815 against the Cardinals because he always does. Ian Happ will had a 3-homer game against them if he still plays against us if he plays for him still, and hit 215 the rest of the year. That's just how things go. Another team, I mean, Kyle Hendricks still is rotation. Is Yu Darvish still on that team?
No, he's in San Diego.
He's in San Diego now.
Someone else. I don't remember. I can't recall who now.
Yeah.
But anyway, this team won 83 games last year. Like, let's just say they keep that. That's their baseline. Craig
Can
Counsell. What's that?
Can 83 games win you the NL Central? I mean,
It
that's
can.
a legitimate,
I meant that like
that's a legitimate question.
Pretend that's their baseline.
Yeah.
Craig Counsell can squeeze 7 more wins out of them, I think, and get them the 90 wins.
Yeah, probably, which sucks.
Which I will say, like, even though I respect Craig Counsell, him pulling like a LeBron James the decision in the offseason, like, really irritated me. And I was like, You haven't done jack shit, guy. Like, you have a couple playoff appearances under your belt. I respect you, but you haven't won a World Series.
Yeah, we want to pin it.
Yeah.
You
And
have
he's
not
pulling
won
this, I will go to
blessed
the
thing.
Cubs. So I hated that. But I still think he's obviously a really good manager.
Yeah, he is. And in kind of the vein of Baldelli and some of the other ones that we've mentioned before, it sucks that he's now with the Cubs, because I really did like him in Milwaukee, and we had some good battles against him. I mean, you know, like I said, this division is so wide open. Winning 86 games could very easily win you the division, and I think the Cubs can win 86 games. I think the Reds can win 86 games. I certainly think the Cardinals can win 86 games. I mean, this is really probably a 3-team race if we boil it down. Could the Pirates surprise some people? Sure. Could Milwaukee maybe overachieve? Sure.
I don't know. Milwaukee feels like they don't have much left in the tank with this.
I think you're right, but probably a 3-team race. And you might be an idiot with the Reds, but other than that, I mean.
Oh, I fully agree. Like, I'm like, am I really gonna put my trust in the
So,
Reds? Like,
I mean,
I'm excited about the Reds.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I could easily see a sophomore slump here.
Yeah. I mean, this is like we said earlier, the Central in both leagues is significantly worse than the East and the West in both leagues.
Yeah. So heading over to NL West. What was that?
So go Cards. I mean,
heading over to the NL West. You could argue I think it's probably more of a 2-team race.
I think pretty firm argument for 3.
I'm curious who your third is. I have a feeling we're going to disagree.
Yeah, let's get into it. 5th is the Rockies.
5 is easy. I got the Colorado Rockies.
Yes.
Like the A's, they just don't have much.
Nothing there.
They've been in a rebuild for a while. I don't really see an end in sight for their rebuild like the A's. I don't know what they have.
Why they have not put every available cent that they want to spend on pitching into ground ball pitchers for their entire history as a organization. I will never make sense to me, but whatever. Yeah, I mean, hooray for Chris Bryant, sure.
He's not even that. Is he that good anymore? I don't think so.
I don't think he is. I think he was hurt last year. I don't even know how well he played last year. I think he was hurt.
So I'm expecting you're an idiot here. I feel like an idiot. I picked this team to finish 4th. ESPN.com had them as a wild card team today. I don't see it. I got the San Francisco Giants at number 4 in this division.
Not what I was expecting, but you're not an idiot, but you're not smart either.
They have great pitching.
Yeah.
But who in that lineup scares you?
That's a really good question, because.
And I like Bob Melvin as a manager too. I didn't like putting him 4th.
It's not 2014 anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
And they lost Brandon Crawford, who was probably their best bat.
Yeah, now he's riding the bench in St. Louis.
Yeah.
So, and they struck out on Judge and Soto and basically every other big name they've tried to get over the past couple of years. Signs Blake Snell.
They're gonna have great pitching.
Gonna have good pitching, but we'll see. It's a tough division.
I have them around 500. I think I have them
82, 83 games.
I have them at 79, but only 2,430 wins to hand out.
Yeah.
I think that's the number. And I'm higher on, i.e., the Dodgers in this division.
Duh.
I feel dumb. I do. Because I looked at ESPN.com, like, oh, they have them as a wild card. Maybe I should rethink this, but it was too
Maybe
late.
ESPN.com's an idiot.
Maybe.
Have we thought about that?
That's going to be the clip, I think, when I put this on YouTube, or not YouTube, Instagram for the reel. I think that's going to be the clip. Maybe ESPN.com's the idiot.
Have we thought about that?
So number 3, I don't love this team. I don't love the Giants either, though. The Giants, back to the Giants. They've been relatively mediocre since 2016. Relatively. They had that one really good year, in 2021, 2. They won 107 games, got home field in the NL, and everyone thought, okay, this is your competitor for the Dodgers in this division for the next few years, and they've regressed and have not looked like that team since.
Right.
This other team, though, has been very inconsistent as well, and that's the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, fire and ice with them. Have all the talent in the world. Seemingly unlimited.
The reason why I have them third and not
unlimited
fourth
funds
is I think they have a better collection of pitching and hitting than the Giants do.
Yeah, I think they have a better lineup, probably. Even losing Juan Soto, probably have a better lineup, probably equal or slightly less than San Francisco in the starting rotation and in the bullpen. Probably.
Definitely less.
Definitely less, but not as much as you would think.
No, I mean, Dylan Cease is really good. I think Yu Darvish is still good. And Musgrave is
good. Bullpen will still be able to give you they seemingly always have guys that throw 102, like 5 or 6 of them from both sides of the rubber somehow. And I mean, Machado and Tatis are still there. As long as they don't, use drugs, they're still there, or wreck bicycles or whatever. So, I mean, the middle of this division is tough. 2, 3, and 4 feel interchangeable.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Padres could totally be in third. This is another one where third doesn't mean that they're not out of the race. They'll probably be in the playoff hunt. But not as good as the top of the division, for sure. Yeah.
So number 2, gonna be obvious here. I got the Arizona Cardinals, Diamondbacks. I'm on football.
Wrong sport, Bubba.
Yeah, I know. I'm on football. I was thinking football for whatever reason, and probably because I got Alabama on, and that's a football school, and it doesn't make sense that they're this deep in the tournament as a football school.
Shut up.
I'm just saying. Hey, by the way, I've been on your side with the whole Alabama.
I know. This is your fault. You jumped on, and we got upset for the first time ever. Auburn's never lost in the first round, and you jumped on, and we lose. This is your fault.
That's fair.
Fucking Palestinians, man.
Palestinian?
Yeah, Bruce Pearl's very large into the Israeli-Palestinian conflict because of his Israeli leanings.
Palestine?
Because of his Israeli leanings, and he spends a lot of time tweeting.
Oh, okay.
There's been a lot of really bad message board fodder on how much he needs to stop doing that. But
have you been paying attention to these coaching searches for basketball?
No.
It's like Louisville.
I feel like they're going pretty quick though.
I mean, Michigan did. Oddly enough, West Virginia did.
West Virginia went pretty quick. Louisville's moving along.
It's wrapped up now, I think, but that was a mess. And
yes,
it was laughable as a West Virginia fan to watch it.
Yeah, the old Big East. It was fun, I'm sure.
Hey, it'll be the new Big 12 real soon.
Yeah, that's true.
In my opinion. Anyway, back to baseball. I got the Arizona Diamondbacks, and second, this team caught lightning in a bottle last year. I
don't know that you can say that they caught lightning in a bottle because they are that talented. They have.
Well, I mean, I
that
had them
kind
in
of roster.
4th last year in my preseason predictions. I mean, I said, like, I like what they're building. We'll see if they put it together, and they did. My whole thing was last year, they only won 84 games, and they got to the World Series.
They did catch fire in the postseason.
So
got a little bit
is
of
this
help.
what they're going to be for the next few years, or do they pull back? I think this is what they're going to be for the next few years.
I'm with you because let me tell you something. My favorite non-Cardinal baseball player is Corbin Carroll.
He's really good.
I love watching Corbin Carroll play baseball.
Is it the hair or?
It's kind of everything. It's scrappy. It's the hair. Scrappy center fielder. Menace on the base paths. Got some pop. Gap to gap guy. Just a lunch pail, blue collar, gym rat. Every white guy thing that you can talk about. Just
scrappy gym rat.
Scrappy gym rat.
That was such a good show. I still say that from time to time. Class act. Spark plug.
Spark plug. Student of the game.
That's a good one. But anyway, I think the Diamondbacks, I think this is what they're going to be. They're young. They have some really good pitching for
really good pitching.
Not something like you typically associate, I feel like, with Arizona.
They either have really good pitching or they have really bad pitching. Seemingly. 2 horses at the top. Adding Jordan Montgomery is going to be huge for them.
And they brought in Eduardo Rodriguez, who played well in Detroit.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe I don't know how they'll play this, but maybe you split those 2 with Zach Gallen. Give a couple of different looks from in starters for like a 3-game series. That'd be kind of funky. But man, Corbin Carroll, Alek Thomas, guys that you've never heard of, making plays in the postseason last year. I'm with you. I love the Diamondbacks. I wish they weren't in Phoenix, and we could watch them play. I don't know, somewhere else, Central Time Zone.
Okay, I thought you had something against Phoenix.
Oh no. Phoenix is a lovely town. I've driven through it once.
I've been there once when I was a small child.
Yeah.
And my parents say it was a lovely vacation. I don't remember much of it. I remember we went to a Diamondbacks game around the time they had entered the league. I think we went the year they won the World Series, actually.
In 01.
Yeah.
I was all set up to go this year. I had a place to stay in Tucson, which is a ways away, for the Final Four, and then that did not work out.
Future Big 12 Tucson.
Rival. Right.
No, I'm actually looking forward to that, but that's a whole other conversation.
That is a long ass trip for the soccer team to make.
The era we're living in, man.
We've had this discussion 1,000 times.
Yeah. Number 1 team, I got the LA Dodgers, to no one's surprise. This team, I think, has 4 MVPs on their roster if you count Kershaw.
It feels like we've had this discussion most every year, but could this realistically be a team that sniffs the win record?
Well, I have picked this team to beat the win record more times than I can count.
Yeah, I know.
At least once, maybe twice. And I can't count very much.
Well, we've talked about it with a couple of different teams, but I mean...
well, one year I picked them to do it. And what is it, 116? I think they finished with 111. I was close.
Yeah, 116, I believe it is. But, I mean, this team has... Carolina, let's go. Yeah, I mean, 1, 2, and 3 are MVPs, and they're not like they won an MVP in 2009. The most, the furthest MVP away was Mookie Betts in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Is that right?
Freddie Freeman won in 21, right? Ohtani won 7 in a row.
I mean, he hasn't been in the league that long, but possibly.
Betts won it the year that the Red Sox won the World Series. Did he not?
Yeah, I know that one. But Freeman, though, I'm not sure.
Freddie Freeman won it in
2020
21.
MVP 20.
In 2020, okay.
Yeah.
So Mickey Mouse MVP, but still, he's good.
Hey, that was their last World Series. Was a Mickey Mouse World Series.
That's true. That's true.
But this team, what's so crazy about this team is that it has completely revamped its pitching rotation. With Yamamoto, I threw Ohtani in there. I guess he's not going to be in there, but Yamamoto, James Paxton, and from Tampa, who am I blanking on?
Glasnow.
Like, that's a really good trio, we think. You know, depends on how Yamamoto plays.
Yeah.
But it's a really great trio. And then do you know who they have just sitting on the, not active on the roster? Clayton Kershaw, Dustin May, Tony Gonsolin, Walker Buehler.
Yeah.
Like, when they get back, they're going to have more arms than they know what to do with.
And the one thing they don't really have to speak of is a bullpen.
Yeah, bullpen's not great.
I'm sure it's fine. But it's a couple of those guys in. Bobby Miller is a starter right now. He'll probably slot into the bullpen when some of those guys come back. Or you throw Dustin May in there, who throws 100. Clayton Kershaw, who is one of the best pitchers of a generation. Doesn't have it anymore, but can give it to you.
No, but it feels like a prime guy to put in the bullpen.
Sure. So I mean, yeah, just funny money.
I mean, well, this is the first time they've actually. Well, I shouldn't say that. They didn't spend money to get Mookie Betts. They traded for him and then gave him a contract. They did spend money on Freddie Freeman, but like this year, like they were truly wheeling and dealing. Ohtani.
They spent
Yamamoto.
$1 billion on two Japanese players.
Yeah,
$1 billion.
just stupid.
Two.
And we rave about this team every year. They still haven't touched their farm system. Like, it's still top 10. Like the Yankees, there's a lot of pressure on this team.
They can go get somebody if they need it. Like, trade away a Gavin Lux or a Max Muncy or Kike Hernandez, who are really good Major League Baseball players. They can do it.
I really believe if this team doesn't win the World Series, like, they're going to fire Dave Roberts.
I don't know that you can if you win 107 games, though. You know what I mean?
It's the best collection of talent I think we've seen in a baseball team since the 90s, early 2000s Yankees. Maybe?
I mean, maybe, but baseball is so fickle. And the Diamondbacks and the Texas Rangers were in the World Series last year. Who would have, that's my thing. And we've had this discussion before. I don't love rushing to fire managers or GMs because of a perceived underperformance.
Fair.
The Dodgers are stupid good. If they don't win the World Series, it's going to be a disappointment. I don't know that you fired Dave Roberts because he didn't win the World Series this year, especially when you have some. This is a stretch, but you have some adversity. Shohei Ohtani's not going to be pitching. You have all those injuries, like you said, to May and Gonsolin and Buehler and Kershaw at the end of his career. You don't really have much to speak of in the corner outfields. Jason Hayward and somebody playing in left, Teoscar Hernandez, Kike maybe. So
Chris Taylor.
Yeah, sure. It's
I think
they're going to be stupid good, but I don't think that I don't think it's a World Series or blow it up type of year.
No, I didn't say that, but I could see them moving. Teoscar Hernandez, Chris Taylor.
Or at least World Series or firing the manager, I guess maybe is a better way to put it. Yeah.
No, they're not blowing this up. No. So, NL wildcard teams, East Division winner, the Braves, Central Division winner, the Cubs, West Division winner, the Dodgers. Wild cards, I got the Phillies, the Diamondbacks, and I did have the Cincinnati Reds sneaking into the playoffs. That is kind of it is my bias coming out there.
That's your
Usually
bias.
It's you, this year it's me.
Yeah, that's fine. You might be an idiot. as we've discussed. But this is again, this is one of those years where you're looking at the East and the West. Those are is most of your playoff teams, and then whoever wins the Central is going to be the sacrificial lamb, and the Braves and the Dodgers will probably meet in the championship series, and whoever wins that will go play whoever comes out of the American League.
The reason why I'm going to make my case for the Reds.
Oh, here we go.
Just for that 6th spot.
Okay.
So for the 6th spot, you're likely talking Miami, Cincinnati, San Diego, and San Francisco. That's my guess right now.
And St. Louis.
Yeah, sure. Okay, St. Louis. I'll throw them in there.
Thank you.
How many of those teams do you truly trust? Besides St. Louis, probably. And I'm not even sure you could trust St. Louis after the way they played last year.
I would trust St. Louis as in a bounce back scenario. I would trust San Francisco.
Okay.
Because of their ability to keep themselves in games with their starting rotation. Do not trust San Diego with for their weight in gold. Don't really trust Cincinnati, but they have the best assortment of. They're like a prove it team.
Yeah.
They have the best assortment of young talent. Prove it to me, and I'll trust you.
Yeah.
They are probably.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
They're here's a bold-ish statement for you. They're probably coming up on what we used to think the White Sox were going to be.
Yeah. What was I just thinking? Now I forgot. No. I think, with the exception of maybe San Diego and San Francisco, I think the Reds have a higher ceiling than the Marlins.
Yeah.
Think 5 years out.
Yes.
I think the Reds have a higher ceiling than any team in the Central.
Of these 5 teams we're talking about, I think the Reds have the highest ceiling of any of them. Yeah. And the Reds and the Cardinals, I think, have the highest ceiling of any of those 5 teams.
Yeah, I mean, you got to throw the Cardinals in there. They're always in the mix in free agency and trades and everything else. So World Series pick, going chalk. I got Baltimore and the Dodgers. Baltimore making its first World Series appearance since 1983, potentially. I'm really cheering for that.
Yeah.
Then
I don't think that's chalk at all, by the way.
No, it is chalk. I think ESPN.com said it, and we said that they were the idiots.
Well, maybe they're idiots. Maybe we've discovered something here.
But World Series winner, I am going with the Dodgers. I hate it.
Yeah, it's.
I feel like I do it every year, but
but it's tough to pick against them because they've built a team.
I'm wrong, by the way. ESPN.com had Atlanta. They had Atlanta winning the World Series. Yeah.
Okay. Good for you.
I just remember that.
That would suck.
I picked Atlanta last year, so.
Yeah. I'll go. Let me go out on a limb here. Let me get fun here. Let me pick the Seattle Mariners to win the World Series.
Okay.
Let's get fun. Why not? I didn't put anything together.
Yeah, I'm starting to embrace that more with these predictions. Just have some fun.
But we know we're not. Who cares?
This isn't March Madness where you got money on the line.
No. Who cares?
Potentially, I don't have money on the line for March Madness.
Not anymore. Yeah.
I don't have that, so no.
Let me pick Seattle to win the World Series, and let me pick Seattle over Philadelphia.
Okay. No, I actually like that Philly pick.
Philadelphia has proven it in the past couple of years.
Yes.
Won a pennant, made the
NLCS
last year. Yeah. Lost to the Diamondbacks in 6 or 7, if I remember correctly.
Haven't they knocked off the Dodgers, who had home field both years?
Both, yeah. Either they beat the Dodgers or
one of those years might have been the Padres.
The Braves, maybe.
Yeah.
It was one of the two. Yeah. Maybe they beat them both in back-to-back years or something like that. But yeah, the Phillies, like I said, the Phillies have shown it. Shown that they can do it. So let's get a little weird. Give me Seattle over Philadelphia.
Okay. So I got something else I want to discuss with you.
Fork 'em, baby.
I know that I'm taking you from your family. We're going on over an hour and a half. I got something else I want to share with you. I'm going to do a whole nother recording though, because I think we're going to get deep into it.
Okay.
All right. So almost a part 1, part 2. So
Part
stop.
two.